Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. Today we're really getting into the nuts and bolts of modern rugby attack. We're looking at a tactical shift, something that's really changing the game at the very top level. If you've been watching the Rugby Championship, especially the Springboks, you've probably noticed it. This move away from just, one main guy calling the shots.
That's right. The classic number 10 running everything. For years, that was the model. But the game's evolved. Modern rush defense, it's so quick, so aggressive. Relying on just one playmaker, it makes you predictable. Easy to shut down, really.
Yeah, the defense just floods that channel, targets that one player, and suddenly your attack hits a brick wall.
Exactly. Bottlenecked.
So what's the answer? It's not just having like a backup plan.
Yeah.
It seems to be this need for what some call attacking twins or maybe Gemini playmakers, usually the 10 and the 15, maybe 10 and 12 sometimes.
A fluid partnership.
And their job, fundamentally, is to make the defense defend the whole width. You can't rush effectively if you're stretched side to side.
It forces defenders to make choices they don't want to make. It's like high-speed chess, basically. So our mission today is to trace how this evolved, where did it start internationally, and how did we get to where the Springboks are now with this really lethal setup.
Absolutely. And if you find this stuff as fascinating as we do analyzing these tactical shifts, do make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession. We do deep dives like this regularly. Okay, so where do we pin the origin point? I think we have to look back maybe, 2017? That Lions tour to New Zealand?
Yeah, that feels like a key moment, a turning point where you saw it work consistently at the highest level.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is listening to the players involved, like Jonathan Fox-Davies, great center. He was playing outside Johnny Sexton and Owen Farrell on that tour. Ireland's 10 and England's 10 essentially playing together.
Right, the dual axis. And Davies apparently saw the benefits immediately. He talked about having those two midfield generals, how it just opens the whole width of the field. It was a real eye-opener for him, He said that's where the game's going.
And you have to remember his context. Davies had played years under Warren Gatland for Wales. Hugely successful, no doubt, but a very different system. Much more structured, power-focused.
Yeah, the Warren Ball era. Often a big banger at 12, like Janie Roberts. Solid, direct.
Exactly. And maybe a brilliant defensive fullback like Lee Halfpenny, positionally superb, but not necessarily a primary playmaker from deep. So for Davies, seeing Sexton and Farrell unlock defenses with passing and vision, that must have felt like a revelation.
And there were whispers, well, more than whispers from that tour. Comments suggesting Farrell and Sexton kind of took the reins offensively.
Yeah, that they essentially drove that attacking structure themselves. They saw the problem the rush defense posed, and they figured out the solution on the fly. They basically picked themselves for the tests in that 10-12 combo.
Which, of course, forced the All Blacks to react. You beat them in their backyard with a new tactic, they're going to respond.
Absolutely. Sir Steve Hansen had to counter this. The Lions showed you could unlock that smothering defense with smarts and width, not just brute force.
So what was the All Black answer?
Well, they developed their own multi-threat approach. You remember that period with Damian McKenzie, Bowden Barrett, and Richie Mo'unga, all brilliant players, all capable playmakers.
It's three musketeers almost? How did that work?
The idea was to create confusion, defensive uncertainty. If you've got guys like that floating around, sometimes together, sometimes rotating positions, you can attack either side of the ruck instantly. You've got threats in midfield, threats from the back. Who do you target?
It makes it harder for defenders to just, as you say, tee off on one guy.
Yeah.
They have to hesitate for a split second.
And that hesitation is gold in modern rugby. It creates the space.
This constant tactical back and forth, it really speaks to the quality we're seeing, particularly in the Rugby Championship right now.
Yeah.
We've seen comments, and I think there's some truth to it, suggesting the TRC is maybe well ahead of the Six Nations in terms of quality of play at the moment.
It's arguably because all four teams are so competitive, pushing each other tactically. It's like an arms race of ideas down south. The All Blacks fired back after the Lions.
Which leads us, maybe unexpectedly, to South Africa.
Yeah, the Springboks. Historically, you wouldn't associate them with this kind of fluid multi-playmaker game, would you?
Not at all. Power. Set piece. Kicking game. Tactical conservatism, almost.
But things change. They've really embraced this concept now and maybe even perfected it for their system. They've got this incredible pool to draw from now, this trifecta, as some sources are calling them. Damian Willemse, Sacha Feinberg-Mngomezulu, and Manie Libbok.
Three genuine playmakers. So what was the key tweak? How did they unlock it within their structure?
I think the masterstroke really was shifting Damian Willemse, moving him from inside center number 12 to fullback number 15.
Okay, why is that so significant? Moving a key ball player out of the midfield seems counterintuitive for a team that loves go forward, right?
Well, yes and no. It's clever because it achieves two things vital to how the Boks want to play. Firstly, it puts Willemse in space. Back there at 15, he can survey everything, return kicks brilliantly, launch counters, use his vision.
Okay, makes sense. What's the second thing?
It frees up the number 12 jersey for their traditional strength. It allows them to still pick a big physical center, an Andre Esterhausen or a Damien Dalen.
Ah, I see. So you keep that hard-running threat at 12. The defense has to respect that direct power. They can't just drift wide anticipating passes from 10 and 15.
Exactly. It keeps the defense honest, as they say. It anchors the midfield defense.
So you get the best of both worlds. The finesse and vision from 10 and 15, but still that central power threat from 12.
Precisely. It's a balanced attack, finesse and force. And look, the stats since they made that switch, it's kind of undeniable. Remember, it wasn't even fully planned. It happened mid-game at the Cake Tin. A fellow of a Fassi got injured around the 37th minute. Willemse shifts back to 15.
And since that exact moment,
the numbers are just, oh, wow. In only 123 minutes of play with Willemse at 15 and one of the others at 10, they've scored 14 tries, put up 105 points.
105 points in just over 2 hours of rugby. That's incredible. That's like a try every 9 minutes.
And think about how they finish games, the final 20 minutes of their last two matches. The score is 54-0. 54-0.
Just complete dominance in that final quarter. That sustained pressure must come from having those multiple threats constantly asking questions.
It does. There's no let-up.
Let's dig into that synergy a bit more, especially Willemse and Feinberg-Mngomezulu operating from the backfield. The analysis suggests their combined kicking game, not just distance, but the vision, the tactical kicking, might actually be superior to what that All Blacks trio achieved. That's huge praise for the Bolts.
It is, but watching them, you can see why. Their ability to turn defense into attack, particularly from kicks, is devastating. Look at the Argentina game recently. If Argentina kicked loosely to those two, it was described as inviting death by 1,000 cuts. They just carve you up on the counter.
There was that Cheslin Colby try in that match. That seemed like the perfect illustration of this system working. Filling the field, as the coaches said.
Oh, definitely. A textbook example. 2 phases, that's all it took. Phase 1, Argentina kick deep. Willemse fields it under pressure, secures it, gets it away quickly, creates fast ball.
Okay, standard enough, but crucial.
Then, phase 2, immediately. Before the defense can reorganize, before they can reset their width, Feinberg-Mngomezulu steps up at first receiver, reads the space instantly, and pings this perfect crossfield kick right onto Colby's chest on the far touchline. Try time.
Wow. From deep in their half to a try on the opposite wing in 2 phases. That's speed, vision, execution.
That's the dual playmaker effect. And it's not just the flashy stuff. Look at Willemse's work rate. There was one sequence apparently where within about 20 seconds, he passed from first receiver.
Okay.
Then immediately followed up and cleaned out the ruck.
Wait, Willemse cleaning out? Like a forward?
Yeah. Getting his hands dirty to secure that fastball himself, and then bounces straight back up and is overcalling, demanding the ball again to launch the next wave.
That's relentless. And that willingness for a playmaker to do the gritty work, like cleaning out, just keeps the tempo high, doesn't it?
It ensures the system keeps functioning at pace. It really shows how integrated this whole approach is under Rassie Erasmus and Tony Brown, the attack coach. This Tony Ball idea seems to be working.
Even the opposition captains are noticing. Julian Montoya of the Pumas said after that game, South Africa just capitalized on every mistake we made.
Well, when you have potentially 3 sets of eyes scanning for any defensive lapse, any turnover, any poor kick, yeah, mistakes get punished ruthlessly.
Okay, before we look ahead at where this might go next, we definitely want to hear what you think. Which of these Playmaker setups has had the biggest impact on how rugby is played today? Was it that pioneering 2017 Lions duo of Sexton and Farrell? Was it the All Blacks response with Barrett, Malunga, and McKenzie? Or is it this current Springbok trifecta that's taking it to another level? Hit subscribe to Rugby Obsession if you haven't already, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to read them.
Looking forward, the potential for this Boks group seems enormous. You hear talk from within the camp suggesting that this trio, Sacha, Damian, Manie, they could genuinely take the Springbok game to a whole new level. This isn't just a short-term fix. They see it as a sustainable path forward.
And they might not even be done innovating. There's already chatter, speculation maybe, that South Africa might aim for the full house, actually trying to get all 3 types of playmakers, 10, 12, and 15 on the field at the same time. all of them dynamic decision makers.
Wow, that would be complex and incredibly difficult to defend against if they could pull it off. It really does underline how the game is shifting, doesn't it? The sheer athleticism and skill level of these playmakers now. Someone even compared Feinberg-Mngomezulu, his combination of vision and pace, to Bowden Barrett during his peak World Player of the Year days. Maybe even more athletic. High praise indeed.
So wrapping this up, it seems clear. This dual playmaker system, or maybe even the optimal setup involving three, it's become almost essential for unlocking modern defenses, especially that rush D. And the Springboks, somewhat against their historical type, are not just adopting it, they're arguably mastering it right now, with truly devastating results.
Absolutely. The future of attack seems built around maximizing decision-making options across the park, not just raw power.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to mull over. We talked about how those physical power centers, the D'Alendes, the Esterhuizens, are still crucial right now. They keep the defense honest, right?
That balance is key currently.
But as these playmakers get more athletic, faster, stronger themselves, think about Feinberg-Mngomezulu or Willemse. How long does that traditional pure power foil at number 12 remain essential? Could we eventually see the 12 spot also filled by someone with the skills of a 10 or 15, making the entire backline a network of playmakers? Is the banger roll living on borrowed time? Something to think about. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more like it, please make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive, and we'll look forward to you listening to our next episode.